we're the Doom Buddies. My name's Erin.
And I'm Kate.
And we are childless millennial Disney adults
who are not your average theme park goers, and we're bringing you the hottest takes and the best tips and tricks.
And as a caution, our content contains strong language and adult themes. So if you have kids, you might not want them to listen to our content. Well, let's get into it. So today we are talking about one of our favorite events, Halloween Horror Nights. So what is Halloween Horror Nights?
Well, Halloween Horror Nights is an event at Universal Studios in Orlando, but in other theme parks around the world, that is just dedicated to Halloween and horror, all things spooky and scary and creepy.
Yes. And with Universal being basically the head of all things Halloween because they created the Universal monsters, like, that's a pretty big deal. And so this event really showcases all things Halloween and creepy. And
yeah, they've been doing horror since black and white films were around.
Exactly.
So they know what they're doing.
Yes. So, Halloween Horror Nights, how long has it been going on?
Halloween Horror Nights started back in 91, and this is its 32nd year.
Hell yeah. So excited. So, what does Halloween Horror Nights mean to us? So, we can start with Kate because we all know that Kate is the spooky bitch. I'm a spooky bitch too, but Kate is the spooky bitch.
Oh, thank you.
So we'll start with you.
I appreciate it. Halloween Horror Nights is a vibe. It's immaculate vibes, especially if you love horror. You love Halloween. I was a Halloween kid. I'm still a Halloween kid. I like dressing up. I like getting scared. I like things that are creepy and weird and gory and messed up. And this is where you get to experience it. Like, you get to live out, like, the feeling of Halloween when you were a kid, but as an adult. Like, that fun sense of, ooh, I'm scared, but also getting to experience, like, treats and drinks. So, like, experiencing Halloween over again, like, with a childlike sense of adventure and fun, but then also, like, as an adult, knowing that it's, like, being able to appreciate it for what it is, like, the production value and the quality of the sets and the costumes and the makeup and the music, and a vibe.
Totally. And honestly, that is pretty much my answer too, is that it encapsulates Halloween totally. Maybe not so much in the kid way where it's like you're trick-or-treating, whatever, but as an adult, like the creepy, scary horror movies, like I grew up watching horror movies, and even though I'm very much the type that gets scared so easily, like, I fucking love this event. Like, and I actually didn't go. My first event was back in 2021. It was Halloween Horror Nights 30, which was with the icons.
30 Fears.
Yep, 30 years, 30 Fears. And I was telling Kate this before. When I was a little kid, or not even a little kid, but I remember when I was at least a teenager and I saw the event posters for Halloween Horror Nights, I was like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I could do this. I would be far too scared. But actually going, because Kate went before me. When was your first time?
2019.
2019. So when they told me about it and they're like, you have to go, and they know me, I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I don't know. But
Changed your mind.
Yeah.
Blew your mind.
Literally, the second I walked through, like, under the gates, or however you would say through the gates, I guess, Ben and I, my boyfriend, were like, we're making this an annual trip. Like, this is, like, outstanding. And just going back to what Kate said about the food, the production quality, the makeup, like, the things that they do to get these people in character, and the sets that they make, and, like, it's wild. It's incredible. And, you know, being someone, again, who gets so scared, walking into the houses, like, you don't want to close your eyes. Like, you actually want to look around and see what's happening because it's incredible. Like, it's not your, like, backwater town haunted house. Like, it is.
It's movie set quality with insane effects. And like you said, makeup, props, just next level. Like, you really can't compare it to anything. And that's why it's been voted the best Halloween event for 13 years.
Yes. And, I'm sure a lot of you who have seen the Halloween Horror Nights memes, like, they get all the senses, too. They get your smell. Like, the smell of the fog is a very specific smell. So when people say, like, see you in the fog, or anytime I smell the fog, like, it gets me ready for Halloween, like, it's a thing.
It's a thing. It's like a cultural little phenomenon for these people like us that love horror and whatever it is about us as humans that enjoy being scared, and they get us.
They do. And then even just going back to the houses real quick and the smells, like, I remember the first year we went and we did the Puppet Master house, like, the house smelled like powder, like makeup powder. And then thinking about going to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it smelled like burnt meat.
Like gross, yeah.
Like,
and you smelled like the gas of like the chainsaw.
Yes. It was just, again, like, just incredibly done. So that's why we love it. That's what it means. I mean, it means so much to us.
I can't recommend it enough to anyone who likes Halloween to whatever degree. And then it might even make you even more of a Halloween fan because it's just so well done. And they've been doing it for so long. They just get better. Like, technology updates, they have crazy animatronics, puppets, projections, things that, like, they weren't doing, in the 90s, and they just keep upgrading.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, too, we were talking about this earlier, too, as Kate was saying how, you can see videos of the scare zones and see people doing bits. Like, getting into character and really making the scare zones come to life. And
they put on their own personal touch to the event,
right?
Like, and every night you go, something different is gonna happen,
right? So just props to the team that comes up with the ideas, props to the characters, props to the staff. I mean, even last year when Kate and I went during the Hurricane Ian, like, so our plans changed. We had to cancel one of the nights because the night was canceled, and we had to move it. And just, like, the cleanup crew, like, the things that they did to, like, make it all seamless was just incredible. So just props to all of the staff of Universal Studios. We have yet to go to California, so that's on our list. But because we love Walt Disney World, we typically go to Disney and do HHN the same time. But man, even Boo Bash sounds good. But okay, I digress.
Anyway, that's for another video.
So what we wanted to get into today is talking about the houses that are going to be here this year and kind of what, we think is going to be in it. We have tried to stay away from spoilers as much as possible. So kind of going to give you guys our take on it and give you each our top 3 that we're most looking forward to.
Ooh, and just for a disclaimer, we are filming this on Monday, September 4th. The event just started this past weekend, and team member preview was a few days even before that. But so all things considered, it is still a relatively new event. It just started. Yeah,
good to know. So, starting with the haunted houses.
Ooh, first one on the list here, we have Stranger Things based on season 4. Try to escape the curse of Vecna. You'll need your squad to resist Vecna's gruesome curse. Like 11, now's your chance to stop him once and for all as you take on the scariest season of Stranger Things yet.
Ooh, okay, so this one is going to be incredible. I have, unfortunately, seen some spoilers of Vecna, but from what I saw, I mean, we already kind of knew he would be in there, obviously.
Yeah.
but
he's the villain.
It looks incredible. It looks so good.
It looks really good, and again, knowing what Universal does as far as recreation of things that are already a production, they replicated it like perfectly. So, and again, I haven't seen any spoilers except for some Vecna shots here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But from even just seeing that, like, yeah, they nailed it for sure.
We're looking forward to seeing Eddie, our love.
That's my boy. That's why I was pointing to my Eddie tattoo.
Kate is obsessed. So
this is dedication.
Kate has even met Joseph Quinn.
I did.
So
I did.
That's major
and
dedication.
And I met the girl who played Chrissy.
Oh yeah,
Grace.
that's right.
Grace
that's right.
Dean. Yes.
Yes. And also, stay tuned. We're actually going to do a little, not Disney bound, I guess, Disney bound, but Universal bound at HHN, and you'll see it's themed. So the next house is The Exorcist Believer. An evil reawakened. 2 missing girls have been found with no memory of what happened to them. But wherever they went, the ultimate evil has returned with them. Enter the most terrifying scenes from the new Blumhouse film. So obviously this film has not come out yet. Kate showed me the preview and it looks fucking crazy good.
It's pretty scary.
And it definitely gives nod to the old Exorcist movie, which is so cool. Oh man, I don't know. I think this one is gonna be scary. I think it's gonna be fucked up.
It's especially it's more scary because, like, yes, it's based on a movie, but it's a movie that hasn't come out yet, so like you can't predict what's gonna happen. Like, I don't, you can't be looking for a certain scene or something. Like, you don't know. It's totally unknown. You're just walking into it like there's 2 girls that are possessed and what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Sounds a lot like us.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Next one.
Next house is The Last of Us. You and your squad will encounter the haunting and overgrown world of the video game in a brand new, terrifying way. Stay silent if you want to survive a multitude of clickers, hunters, and more.
Dang.
Ooh.
So, sadly, even though I am a gamer and I Twitch stream with Ben, I have not played The Last of Us, which is really, I need to do that. I probably should have done that sometime before we went on this trip, but
we still have time.
Yes.
We're going in 24 days.
Yes. So we do know that it is based on the game and not the recent adaptation that came out with Pedro Pascal. So it'll be very much based on the game, which is super cool. And we do know that the voice actors from the game are going to, like, their voices are going to show up in the house.
Ashley Johnson.
Yes, I was going to say, all those Critical Role fans out there. She's an incredible actress, too. So that'll be awesome.
That's good. I have a love-hate thing with zombies. Last of Us, I didn't watch the show. I would like to.
It's so good.
But I did watch gameplay because I'm also not a gamer, but I watched a playthrough of it. And really liked it. It was really good. So, like, I know what I'm getting myself into. Like, I know what to look for. But zombies are scary to me because it's real. Like, I feel like that could really happen. And especially with Last of Us, how it's like a fungus like that.
Yeah.
It's very real to me.
It is. Yeah.
And zombies can be overdone, but doing it this way where it's like a more natural take on them, like, I don't know. It's going to be good. I know it's going to be good.
Just based on what we said, the makeup's going to be impeccable. It's going to be amazing. So,
like, it's going to scare me for sure. The sound of the clickers, it gives me, like, goosebumps. It makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. Like, it's unnerving for sure.
Yeah. So that's going to be a good one for sure. So going on to, of course I get this one. Chucky, the ultimate kill count. Chucky's back for even more carnage. Chucky, the serial killer doll, is back for a new gore fest. He's hijacked his own haunted house with all kinds of bloody hijinks. You and your friends must try to survive his ultimate kill count. So, a little backstory. Kate and I even though we didn't even know each other when we were this little, but we both hated Chucky. Okay, I was terrified. I still am. I hate dolls. I hate that, like, what's the fear? Isn't that a pediophobia? Pediophobia or something? I think that's what it is. I looked it up. And I have that, and I hate dolls. And only up till recently, we watched all of the Chucky movies, watched all of the series, season 1, season 2 of Chucky. And now we fucking love him.
We love him. Like, I literally, I was so scared of him when I was little that my parents couldn't even say that name. Like, we weren't even allowed to speak that name in my household because it would just freak me out so much.
Triggered.
And now I'm like, I love him. I'm like,
he's a little bit relatable now.
I'm like, what he says makes sense. Like, watching the series, I'm like, okay, like, I like him more than I like the actual main characters. Like,
yeah,
they make him more likable than the protagonists of the story.
They do.
They're setting me up here.
Yeah. So, that said, I think we're both going to be fucking terrified. Yeah. Because obviously we've tried to stay away from spoilers, but there are going to be puppets and they're definitely doll-sized. Yeah. So I know that I'm going to be fucked up. Like, I'm going to be so scared.
I mean, if they got little Chuckies, like, popping out at me, obviously I'm going to be scared.
Yeah.
He's going to do his little laugh, and I'm going to pee myself a little bit.
Yeah, I think I will too. So.
But I'm excited for it, though. Like, because now that we've kind of went past it, like, there was a time where I couldn't even think of, I would never do that. Like, never be like, I'm going to a Chucky house, let alone, like, I have a Chucky outfit that I might be wearing. Like,
yeah.
Who am I that I'm literally going dressed as this thing that terrified me for like 10 years?
It's insane. We know we're insane, but it is crazy. Like, if you would have asked old me if I would ever go to a Chucky haunted house, I would tell you absolutely
I'd cry.
Not. I would cry too. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm scared. So, you guys will probably see our reactions. We'll definitely get a reaction video after that house because...
Who knows?
I just need I'm probably going to... I don't know. Anyway.
I got nothing.
Next house.
Next house is Universal Monsters Unmasked.
Ooh.
4 Universal Monsters, 1 new nightmare. Descend into the Paris catacombs where you and your squad will face a new horde of monsters. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the Invisible Man.
Wow, that is a lineup. If there ever was a lineup, that's a good lineup.
Oh my god.
I mean, I think you said that they've done the Phantom before or the Invisible Man?
Mm-hmm. They did a house the first year I went that was dedicated to all the Universal monsters.
Oh.
And it had everyone that I listed except for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
But they were like minimally featured, like, you know, maybe one scene or one room.
Yeah.
And now this seems like it'll be, you know,
that'll be awesome.
Heavily featured, which those are like, I feel like underrated Universal monsters or lesser thought of.
Yeah.
Because you got like the main squad and then this is like the like B tier or whatever. But it's such a good theme of like the Paris, like you think about.
It's going to be good.
It's good. Every year, honestly, the Universal Monster houses are always in my top every year since I've been going. And a lot of people, like, don't give them enough.
Hate on it. They think that it's overused, which I think is ridiculous, honestly.
Like we said, this is where Universal, you know, made its name was from the classic monster movies. So it would make sense why they would keep doing them. Like, clearly, it's classic, it's timeless. Everybody in the world knows these monsters. They know these characters. Like,
it needs to be appreciated.
It needs to be appreciated.
Absolutely. That's what we got to say about that. Okay.
Yeah, and it, like, I don't know. If you can't,
No. When you take, like, something that is a foundational piece of art and animation or movie characters that have built up the franchise to what it is today, you cannot fucking hate on it, in my opinion.
no,
like,
you can't. It's like, that's literally the foundation. It would be like you taking out, like, that piece on, like, a Jenga tower.
Right.
And, like, letting it all crumble. Like, it wouldn't be a tower without that. So you can't hate on it. You can't.
No.
You can't get rid of it. You can't be like, oh, this is overdone or overrated. Like,
No.
No.
And Epic Universe is going to have its own Universal Monster Land, so I think it's the picked a wrong thing to not like, because they're going to be making an entire land on it. So.
And how would you not like it? I don't know what there is not to like.
I don't know.
You know, I guess I don't understand people. I never will.
All right. Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins. Your soul is a price he's willing to pay.
I don't have one, so good luck.
I do, but he can pay my soul. It's fine. It's all good. You won't be able to resist going into Dr. Oddfellow's menacing menagerie of twisted oddities. But the price for you and your friends is steep. The cost of your souls to feed his immortal power.
Ooh.
Okay, so Dr. Oddfellow is basically the icon of HHN this year.
New icon. Brand new. He just debuted.
Yes. In HHN lore, he has showed up as the one who killed Jack and then brought him back to life, I believe. It is in the series. They talk about it quite a bit in the series that Universal Studios has put out on their podcast
Yeah.
on Spotify. So check that out. They will give you some way more lore about it. But Dr. Oddfellow is basically, I like to call him the more sinister Dr. Facilier.
Yeah, it's very Facilier vibes.
It is.
Like the hat and the cane and the cloak and all that.
Kind of like the voodoo-y vibes.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what that's going to be all about. The oddities I'm intrigued by that. Like, I'm wondering if it's going to be like a circus of like weird people, or
yeah,
something like that.
Like an old-timey like freak show.
Yeah, freak show. Yeah. So that'll be cool. And again, if you listen to the series, it talks a lot about his power and how he gets a lot of his power from the Dark Zodiac, which is actually going to be a scare zone. So a lot of things are intertwined. So I think it'll be cool to kind of see how everything's interlinked.
He has his hand in all of the scare zones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are nods to his like magic and the power, like the sigil.
Yes. Yep.
In all of the scare zones. So he kind of is lurking over this whole event this year.
Which is really cool.
Next house, Dueling Dragons.
Ooh,
Choose thy fate.
Oh.
No matter who you choose, you lose.
That's not fun.
2 warlocks of great power were turned into dragons after trying to take Merlin's spellbook. Now you and your friends are caught in their epic battle. You must choose a path and a victor.
Man, we're getting really dramatic each time.
I'm getting
into it. I love it.
Well, this is okay. So we're gonna rank what we're.
Yeah, we will.
Well, we're gonna rank which houses that our top 3s. This is right up my alley. This is
Dungeons and Dragons,
medieval, Renaissance. Like, I'm all about fantasy.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! And again, I've avoided a lot of spoilers, but I did see some of the characters and some of the makeup from this house, and I've seen like a troll, and I've seen like
that's gonna be
knight,
so cool,
and like a skeleton, like an undead, like warrior. Oh my gosh! I just like. They knew, and this house ties into Islands of Adventure.
Yes, with the old Dueling
Dragons roller coaster, where you had to choose the fire dragon or the ice dragon. It's like full circle. Oh my god!
So they're saying they might have multiple endings. I would think it would be cool if there were 3 endings, because if you listen again to the podcast, it actually talks about how Merlin is like the protagonist in this story. And in order to stop the fire wizard and the ice wizard, he does some sort of incantation that keeps his book hidden or something. I may have it wrong. You have to listen to it. I honestly recommend you guys listening to that one, if anything. It's really good. And so if either of the wizards find Merlin's book, then basically whoever finds it first, you know, we're all screwed. You know, the fire guy will all be on fire or it'll all be ice.
Yeah.
So I think it'll either end with the fire guy winning or the ice wizard winning. I would love to see it if there was an ending where Merlin wins and comes back. And like you get the book before the other wizards can.
Yeah, I want to know how that works, but of course I don't want to spoil it.
Right.
So I'm not reading about it or looking it up, but
yeah.
like I know that you do have to make a choice. So I'm assuming there's multiple pathways.
Yeah.
To go down, and
which is really cool in itself because I've only been to Horror Nights twice, and I've never done a house that you pick, like you choose where you go, which is so cool.
Well, and they're already like, even though it is the same thing over and over again, it's not, because each experience, every time you go through, you're gonna notice things you didn't notice the first time.
Yes.
You're gonna get either more scares, less scares, depending on the flow of the line that you're
Yeah.
in. So like just normally you get different outcomes, and like last year with the Universal Monsters house,
You're right.
they had the ending scene, either like Dracula one or the Wolfman one.
Yep.
And we went through it twice, and luckily got to see
both. Yeah.
And the Mummy.
The Mummy is one too?
He was one too. We didn't see him, but like
we saw Dracula holding the head of the Wolfman.
And then
vice versa.
Yeah, so they do have that, like where there's variation, and the icons, there would be a different icon up on the throne. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right.
So like every time you go through it, like you really do get to see something different, but this one literally is like a choice is made that you take, and
it's going to be incredible. Oh man.
I'm stoked.
Whew. All right, we're almost there, guys. Yeti campground kills. Yeti or not, here they come. I don't know why I decided to do that.
No,
but
it's good.
Okay, let's go with it.
Going.
You and your friends are about to venture into the 1950s campground overrun by huge menacing Yetis. Plural. Who rip apart anyone who gets in their way. You must flee to the Ranger Tower to escape. I think that was a pretty good accent.
It was good.
So I'm excited for this because we love the cryptids. So I don't know if this is like the Yeti or if this is like Bigfoot.
Yeah, it would make more sense if it was Bigfoot to me.
Yes, because Bigfoot definitely coincides with campgrounds. So that's what I'm picturing.
And they did do the Yeti a few years ago. The first year that I went, 2019, they did a Yeti house that took place like in the Arctic. Maybe not in the Arctic, but it was like in the tundra of. It was really cold and a lot of snowy like mountains.
So I mean, I don't know about y'all, but like if I have a big furry monster like that's really tall like coming at me, I definitely will be scared. Yeah. So regardless whether I think this house is going to be the most impressive, like I guess theme wise, like it may not be like the strongest theme, it still will scare the shit out of me personally.
Yeah, anytime they use the stilts, they have like tall
like a tall guy. Nah,
it's always very scary.
For me, it's the crawling. Anything that like crawls out.
Crawling or tall, like it's
I can't.
Either but really small or really big.
Yep. All right, 2 more.
Next one is The Darkest Deal. Fame is fleeting, fear is forever. Blues musician Pine Straw Spruce will have to face the music after meeting with the Collector and trading his soul for musical glory. You and your squad learn the terrible price of fame.
You know what? I feel like they should just hire us to do those Universal voiceovers.
I know. I should be a voice actor.
If you're out there, Universal people, we'll make it happen.
I'll do it for free.
I'll do it for free too. Goddamn. So this house, there was also a podcast on, and it really went into basically how hard, like a struggling musician's life and what it takes to make it. And basically, he consults with some sort of demonic entity that makes him, more famous. And obviously, when you fuck with the wrong thing, things go sour.
poorly,
Yeah.
know?
So, I think this would be interesting. Again, it's a very like strong story premise. I wonder how they're going to translate it into a house.
Yeah.
And what kind of like scares we'll see. Like, definitely something demonic. Definitely something
I hope
satanic.
they have like a good use of like music in it.
Oh, they will.
Like a good soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Ooh, I'm glad you brought that up. I think that will definitely happen. Some definitely good like bluesy, bluegrass kind of music. So yeah, I actually don't know what to think of that one or to make of it quite yet, even though I listened to the podcast.
I think that's kind of the fun thing about when they do like their own, when they do IPs versus, their own houses, because like the intellectual property, you know what you're getting in a sense, like Chucky, The Last of Us,
Right.
Stranger Things, like what's gonna happen in theory, and these ones are like,
you never know.
I don't know, it could be whatever, and then those ones always end up like being top tier for me. Like,
yeah.
The Boris Schuster, the
oh my god, I was literally thinking like you read my mind.
That house, like
was
I didn't
so
really
good.
like. I was excited for it, like because I like the premise of like the PI and the old timey detective, like and going through it, it was incredible.
It was so
like
good.
One of my favorites of that year, and it was something that nobody was really talking about.
Right. I feel like you and I are very much story people, and we like to hear we like how the story brings everything together. Like, even I remember they did the Tooth Fairy one, and like they had a whole storybook like beginning, and you walk through and they tell the story about like the fae that take the teeth away, and like they show like a little storybook scene, and like then the house kind of plays out the story. So, like, to me, I love that. Like, maybe because it's the gamer in me that loves that type of play out, but I don't know. So, we'll see what happens. We haven't heard too much about it at this point.
Nope.
All right, last one. Oh, man, this one. I feel like this one's going to be so good, honestly. Blood Moon Dark Offerings. Bleed for the Blood Moon. In a colonial-era village, moon worshippers witness a blood moon at their fall festival. They take it as a sign to hunt down any non-followers, including you and your Scream Squad.
Scream Squad. Hashtag Scream Squad.
Okay, again, podcast. Super good. This was a really good story, and honestly, I think this is going to be terrifying. Definitely culty. Definitely, like, blood sacrifice shit.
Hopefully lots of blood.
Yeah.
It's well, I'm a American Horror Story fan, and it just reminds me of this season of Roanoke, where they had the blood moon, and they had a cult that sacrificed people to the blood moon to keep their power. So I'm assuming it'll be like that.
It was basically... It was like that, I think. In the story, it was more like because they were experiencing a drought.
Yeah,
they were...
that's what they... Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it. So
to keep their little colony, like, successful and thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
So I honestly, like, this didn't make my top 3, but I feel like when we reassess, I feel like this might make it.
Definitely revisit our lists, and, they might change.
Yeah. So now getting into that, Kate, what do you have for your top 3 houses?
My top 3. Okay, so I'll start with number 3. Dueling Dragons, Choose Thy Fate.
Ooh.
Which obviously we already talked about why, but like I know that the theming is going to be immaculate. I am a sucker for fantasy, and the fact that it's like interactive of getting to choose.
Yep.
I don't know what else I could ask for. Like, and I'm hoping that there are some sort of crazy animatronic or puppet dragons.
Yeah, the dragons.
There's gotta be.
Oh, I
Like
can't.
I'm thinking like how in the Forbidden Journey, how there's the dragon that blows the smoke in your face. Like I'm assuming there's gonna be something like that where it makes it seem like he's either blowing ice at you or
fire.
Fire. Like that's gotta happen, and it's gonna be giant. Like it's gotta be like the whole wall of a drag. Like for sure.
And
I don't know. I'm assuming that.
For people who like haven't gone to HHN and you're like, nah, they would never do something that big. They have.
They have.
They have. So they very well could.
They did it in the Poltergeist house where they had the big like demon from that was in the closet that was literally like floor to ceiling puppet, and they made Clownzilla from Killer Clowns.
Yep.
Like,
and Beetlejuice, they did
the huge
snake,
the snake and the sandworm.
Sandworm, thank you.
Yes, so they have done puppets and animatronics, so I'm hoping that's in there.
Thing, yeah.
And my number 2 is Universal Monsters Unmasked, because I'm a sucker for the classics. I love my Universal Monsters. And thinking back to the house that had all of the monsters and having the Hunchback like ringing the bells, like swinging from the bells, and the Phantom like at his like organ, like even just seeing that in those scenes were like, oh my gosh, like, you know, every corner you turn, oh, I know that monster, I know that one. And now they're getting their own house. So you can't go wrong with that for me. That's maybe a personal opinion, but number 1 for me this year, Stranger Things.
Yes.
It's kind of, everyone is loving Stranger Things, and I love it. Like I don't say like this is mine, you know. Right. But this past season like rekindled my love for the series, and Eddie is now one of my favorite characters in media, and those kids are great. I love them. That season,
I love them,
was amazing. It was spooky, and it was like the
oh,
whole storyline with like Max and Eddie, and oh my god, just like not knowing, that feeling like there's a character that's not gonna make it.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like impending, like as the season went on, and then they like split it in half, and they like hyped it up to this moment. And I guess I won't say any spoilers if you haven't seen it, but like they got you with it. And then, again, this is another house that's gonna have a good use of music.
Yep.
Because they're gonna have Kate Bush, they're gonna have Metallica, maybe they'll have the Separate Ways.
Oh, that's like, so good.
Or the what is the song that the Dream a Little Dream of Me? That one.
Yeah.
They're gonna recreate the series or the season, and it's gonna be perfect, and it's gonna make you feel the same feels that you felt watching it. So,
you know, our reaction video after might be us sobbing. I don't know. We might not be okay.
I'm not gonna be well after that one. So, that's my top 3. We'll see if it changes.
My top 3, I'm going to go same order as you. I put Last of Us as 3. Because I actually really love zombies. I am a big zombie person. And like you said, the fact that they use the cordyceps as the means for people becoming these creatures is just, it's scary. I mean, it, like you said, it's very realistic. It could happen. Mm-hmm. That something we eat could literally change our brain. Like, it's possible. So I think that will freak us out. I think it's just going to be overall one of the best production qualities. Even just knowing that they have the voice actors in it, and like people who like have worked on the game and like the show and everything, going in there and like having their take on it, and people said it was so good and it like matched the vibe of the game. That in itself just tells me it's going to be up there for me. Second is Stranger Things, obviously. I loved the series as well, especially like the first season, it, like roped me in, and then this last season just really brought it all together, and I can't wait to see what they do next. So I think it'll be really cool. I'm interested to see how they do the part with Eddie. I feel like I saw there was a trailer in one of the pictures, but I really tried not to look at it. So if he's on top of the trailer with Dustin, that's just gonna be epic. Like I can't even describe.
I'll be screaming, and it won't even maybe be like a terrified scream. It just might be like I have so many emotions inside of me that I'm just screaming.
It's not even just gonna be like we're scared. Like some houses that HHN does, it more invokes like a feeling, like how Beetlejuice basically like invoked all the feelings that you felt while watching the movie, like fun.
It's not that it's necessarily like scary, but it put you in the movie. So.
I mean, he was literally doing stand-up in like the beginning of the house, like it was so good. So like Vecna will definitely scare us, but I think it'll more invoke the feelings that we felt during the show. So again, anything that can do that to us like it is so good in our book.
I'm usually very like dead inside all the time, so if you can invoke any sort of emotional reaction from me, kudos.
And opposite, I am very emotional about everything, so it's a blessing and a curse. And then my top one is going to be Dueling Dragons. I feel in my bones it's going to be so good. And like just the fact that you can choose a side, like a way is going to be so cool. And I don't know. I just feel it in my bones. It's gonna be amazing. So we'll see. We'll see how it changes. So now we have reached the second part or the second segment of our episode. Scare zones. Let's get into it.
All right, there's 5 scare zones. I'm going to start with the first one. It's Dr. Oddfellow's Collection of Horror. Dr. Oddfellow will lure you into Halloween Horror Nights with a promise of immortality. As he lifts the veil on all the horrors to come, you'll soon realize you may not even survive the night.
I mean, if he can give me immortality, cool. Like, let's go for it.
I'm going to have to ask him, like, what happens if you don't have a soul to take. Maybe I can bring him another person's.
Maybe he can, like, you can be an empty vessel and just, like...
Yeah.
He can put a soul or some sort of thing inside you, a demon or something.
Yeah. I'll give it a go.
Okay, so the next one is the Dark Zodiac. Dr. Oddfellow has entered a dark dimension to harness the power of the Zodiac and live forever. He twists the signs into malevolent beings who foretell your doom. As his star rises, yours falls.
Ooh.
Okay, Zodiac is gonna be so cool. I've already seen some things about it, but it just looks very ethereal and almost alien, and
like very abstract.
Yes,
like a very artsy.
Yes,
take on
the Zodiac
signs.
Yeah, I'm a Taurus.
I'm a Capricorn.
Next one,
Jungle of Doom Expedition Horror. In the 1920s, Dr. Oddfellow ventured deep into the darkest jungle, performing horrific experiments on nature.
Ooh.
Now his monstrous creations are running amok and are coming after you.
Oh.
Again, I've seen spoilers for this one, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, I've seen a couple, too.
Just the combination of, like, they're monsters that are, like, plant and animal.
That's gonna be so...
like, hybrid, and, like, they have a lot of really bright colors in that section, and it, like, at night it's gonna look
amazing,
really cool.
We also, I believe we saw that there are men in, like, or women or people in ghillie suits.
Yes.
So
oh my gosh,
I feel like if someone pops out of a bush, I'm gonna be
they're gonna get me.
Yeah, it's very easy to get me. I mean,
that scare zone is always usually pretty dark too.
Yeah.
So
where is that located?
That's the one that is by oh my gosh, between Mel's and
okay.
The kid
in that one area that's mostly like
it's
foresty. Yeah. Okay.
It's where the corn one was.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Okay.
Corn.
Everyone did that. Like everyone did last year. Okay. Vamp 69, Summer of Blood. At a 60s music fest in a small New York town. Ooh, that's where we are, New York. You'll jam to popular bands with fellow concertgoers until Dr. Oddfellow unleashes vicious vampires on the audience. They're out for your blood. Let's just say if we were going to get caught in a scare zone, it would be that one. And also, another little backstory about us, not that you guys really give a shit, but Kate and I have this fantasy of being vamp sisters that lure disgusting, terrible
Vampire
people.
vigilantes.
Yes, vigilantes, and just kill them.
People that have it coming, with enough proof and evidence, like, not just anybody.
Yeah, just bad people. People that are bad.
We love vampires. I love vampires. Team Vampire forever. And Universal did a couple scare zones with vampires already. They did an 80s one and they did a 50s one. And I didn't get to see them in person, but oh my goodness, from watching them, I was like, I need to be a part of this. And I got what I asked for because we got Vamp 69. And
yes.
And from what I've seen from it already, it looks so
it's a vibe.
Good. Like the music and the costumes.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Last one. Shipyard 32. Horrors Unhinged. Oh, wait.
Oh, is that us?
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't know that they were...
Unhinged?
Wait a minute. Enter a 1940s San Francisco shipping yard full of mysterious crates and cages bearing Dr. Oddfellow's symbol. Beware. Beware, his nightmarish oddities have now escaped, spreading fear and chaos in their wake.
So, I didn't really see much about this one.
Me either.
Are they, like, shipyard workers? Are they scary fish people?
Ew.
Kate wouldn't like that.
I
would like that.
I don't like fish.
Honestly,
I literally don't have anything to say.
I know. I have no idea what this one's about.
This is the scare zone that Crypt TV was in.
Okay.
And
yep.
The witch one
last year. Interesting.
Rob Zombie. So it's the small one.
Okay. I guess we'll find out what that is. So our top, we're just doing our top one that we want to basically, we're most excited to see or experience. Kate, what is yours?
Vamp 69.
Obvi.
It's pretty obvious. Yeah, it's the biggest scare zone, and it's one that I'm probably going to be able to just sit and sip my ghoul juice and vibe.
We do that. We like to just sit in the scare zones and just watch
them
scare people.
People watch people get scared, watch the actors do their little bits.
Yeah.
Then they scare us too. It's a mood. It's a vibe.
And then mine is Dark Zodiac. First of all, because I wouldn't say like I'm huge into astrology, but I love that and I like the idea of it. And from what I have seen, they look so freaking cool. So we'll see. So far, that's the one I'm most excited for.
That's like another really big scare zone too. It's the Hollywood section of the park, so it has more room to have more actors and
yes.
And I'm pretty sure that's where all the chainsaws are this year.
Yes, that's what we heard. So we've gone over houses. We've gone over scare zones.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to go over shows. We will make a separate video about foods and things like that, but we did not want to overwhelm you all, and it's already pretty lengthy of video. So we're talking about Nightmare Fuel.
Nightmare Fuel Revenge Dream. The show that sparked your darkest dreams has reignited. Let your nightmares burn out of control as the pyro and aerial performers fire you up to the beat of metal and electronic.
So,
what can we say about Nightmare Fuel?
So, first of all, I just want to point out that this would not be a nightmare to either of us.
No.
And
the furthest thing from a nightmare. It's literally a dream come true.
It's literally, yes. Wow, what to say about it?
So it's heavily reliant on music. And then you have performers who are aerialists, do stuff with fire, acrobatics.
They do a little magic, too.
And dancing, a lot of dancing. And these performers are all insanely hot.
They're all objectively hot.
And they're all wearing leather and bondage gear and harnesses and studs and platform boots and
leashes.
Collars and leashes. Wowzers. Wow.
So every time I watch the show, I always joke with Kate and I go, I'm switching sides.
It really is. Nightmare Fuel, I don't know why it's called that. Maybe for people who are like conservative.
Maybe. Oh yeah, they
probably wouldn't like it. Like for some reason, there are people that bring their
kids
to the event as a whole, but also to this show. And like I'm telling you, it is inherently sexual. The outfits they're wearing, BDSM like outfits.
And if you're sitting like in the center, there is a literal stage where a woman will fucking do.
She twerks. And
she twerks. She opens her legs.
She's doing splits. She's doing twerk. She does like booty shake. Oh my
god.
And like,
let me just say, and we said this. People bring their kids to this.
I would feel so...
If you don't want to talk about the birds and the bees to your kids, don't bring them to this. Please.
Well, and I'm out here, I am hooting and hollering. Like, I'm going like...
Kate is feral.
I'm feral. I'm foaming at the mouth. I'm sweating. I'm like, I gotta bite onto something to, like, stop myself. Like, I'm so crazy that I, like, position myself so that the one guy...
Well, look at
I could see the one guy because he's my favorite. And I'm like,
oh, I'm getting hot just thinking about this.
And we're screaming, and like people are looking. I'm like, I need to bring a mister.
Yeah, it's
a fan.
It's intense in so many ways, but
it's like, and not to be objectifying towards them either, but like they're also very talented.
Yes,
the dancing is amazing. That they do this intense show multiple times a night. Every night.
We're really joking. Like, I mean, it is very sexual and very.
It does make me feel
adult
a type of way.
But like Kate said, these individuals are extremely talented. They know
strength.
what they're doing. They're not just flipping fire. Like, they are doing some seriously dangerous stuff. And it's impressive. And
they're doing like aerial silks, without harnesses and nets and
yeah.
And they're doing it multiple times a night for multiple nights a week.
So extreme physical shape.
And in the heat because it's outside in Florida.
Yeah. So we say all that to say it is 100% worth going to see.
For sure. Like, take the time out of it. Like, go in the middle of the evening when the wait times for the houses are really high.
Right.
And take a break and go and watch it. And it's maybe like a 20-minute show, 15-minute show.
It's probably 20.
And
I think 20.
It's good. It's got good music and it's got magic where you're like, how did they do that?
Right.
Like illusions and just really talented people.
Yeah.
That seem to really like it because they've been doing it for
years.
For a few years now.
So again, if you're bringing kids, just beware.
Just beware.
Just beware.
Like, it's good. It's worth it. But, you might need to explain why there's a woman walking men on leashes like they're dogs. As they should be.
Yeah. All right. So we went over the haunted houses, the scare zones, nightmare fuel. Well, what's new? What's going on? What's special this year that we also didn't talk about that hasn't been there in previous years? For one, there's the Megan Horde.
Oh my god.
which I kind of like them, to be honest.
I'm gonna have to see it in person.
Yes.
Oh, I'm getting up.
It's
I'm gonna
fine.
have to see it in person to really give my full opinion on it, because from the spoilers that I've seen,
Yeah, I saw their dance.
I'm cringed out by it.
I think they do a good job. But yeah, it's weird. But the one that we're most excited for, tell them.
David Pumpkins. They literally have a guy dressed as David Pumpkins that's just hanging out at the Peacock Bar, which is behind the seafood restaurant. Like,
yes.
over by where the shipyard.
Yep.
Scare zone is. And he's just hanging out and just quoting the SNL skit.
Yep. Sadly, he doesn't have his little skeleton crew.
I know.
But
we should just dress as them.
We should. Yo, why don't we?
I have my skeleton over us.
Why don't we do that?
Hi, Poppy.
All right. So that's new, and we are excited for that. Kate is definitely going to want to talk to David as Pumpkins. Now we're going to give you guys our tips and tricks for HHN. We think that it's best to map out the houses and the scare zones that you have as a priority first. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will ask, people like us, well, what do you do? What do you do? But instead of telling you guys what we want to do, it's best if you map it out yourself and do your own research.
Yeah, because your likes, your priorities are
probably different.
So,
yeah,
we could tell you what we're going to do, but if you don't like those things, then you wouldn't like how we do it.
Right. So, first things first, you should figure out if you want an express pass or not. Mm-hmm. So express passes are like a fast pass, and essentially it will get you into all of the houses at least once, and it will cut the wait time in half, if not more. Mm-hmm.
It's said half.
At least
half, give or take. I know they've had some issues this year with that.
Oh.
Where it was the same amount. But I know again that this is the beginning. It just
of
started,
the season.
So I know that they always have kinks to work out. But that is their selling point of the express is that it cuts your wait time in half, if not more.
Yes.
And you can only use it
one
time
per house.
And for the whole night. And then once you've gone to Chucky and you've used it, you can't use it on Chucky again. You couldn't just keep going in line. Now you have to go to a different house.
Right. And though that is awesome, and actually we're doing it this year.
For the first time.
It is also very expensive.
Super expensive.
So, good on you people who can just get express passes for the whole season. It's freaking expensive. But we hear it's worth it. So,
especially knowing that this year there are so many houses that have had consistently high wait times,
right.
Last of Us, Stranger Things, Dueling Dragons, those ones are all high.
Universal Monsters,
they're over an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, and the event goes from 6:30 to 2. But do you really want to spend 4 hours
waiting
in line for just 4 I don't want to do that.
No,
that's torture.
Yeah. So for us, we go 2 nights. Sometimes we throw in an extra because we're freaks.
Crazy like that. We have no self-control.
We don't.
None.
We like what we like, and we're willing to spend for it. Even though we won't get express passes every single night, but yeah, I think that it can definitely be worth it if you're going one night and you only plan to go one night.
Yeah,
if you do that,
definitely say to
do the express pass, because then you'll for sure get through all the houses, if not most of them.
Especially if you have ones that you're dying to
go. Yeah.
I've seen some nights, like the first year that I went was one of the years where they did a Stranger Things house, and I didn't even do it because of reasons and because the wait time was so high.
Yep.
Like at one point, I'm pretty sure it was like a 3-hour wait or something, like crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe not 3, but like a lot.
Right.
And that's like, I only have my limited amount of time here at this event. I don't want to spend the whole thing just standing in line for one thing.
No. Because like we said, it's a vibe. The food is good. The drinks are good. The scare zones are good. Like, we want to enjoy it in its fullness. So the Express Pass is definitely worth it if you're not planning to do a bunch of nights. It's definitely worth doing it if you're deciding to go. And especially the closer you get to Halloween, the busier it's going to be. Mm-hmm. So it's probably best to just bite the bullet and get it, especially the closer you get to Halloween.
And if you're going on a weekend.
Yep, weekends are rough. So, yeah. That's why we try to go during the week. We usually make plans to do that. The only reason why we didn't do that last year was because of Hurricane Ian.
This year we're going on a Wednesday and
a
Thursday.
Thursday. Yes. Other things. You want to make sure you check the wait times. Universal has an app, and the app has times that are pretty accurate depending on the time of night. Typically, as the night goes on, they don't update it as frequently, I've noticed. And there have been times where it'll say, like, it's 50 minutes, and, like, literally we've walked on.
Yeah.
Like, we've walked into it. At the end of the night.
Especially
like,
once
close to 2 a.m.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, check the wait times, most especially during, like, the start of it. And then I would say as the night goes on, you can use it, but, kind of use your judgment, because a lot of people don't end up staying till 2 a.m. So
yeah, if you can hold out, it's worth it, because the wait times drop significantly. And we went into a line that was marked at like 35 minutes or 40 minutes, and like you said, we walked right in. And
yep.
And a lot of times they have the wait times posted, and even during the busy time, it's still less than that, because they want to overshoot it rather than undershoot it. Because if they're saying, oh, it's a 20-minute wait, and something happens, and now you're stuck for 40 minutes, people are pissed because it said 20 minutes.
Right.
So you can't always assume that it's going to be less, but like, especially if you're waiting towards the end of the night, because they're kind of like, I feel like they're kind of like wanting people to leave.
Yes.
To like thin the crowds out, so they're leaving the times up.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, this one's 50 minutes, like, don't get in line for this.
And they're like, nah, I'm gonna
do it anyway. And then, it was only a 10-minute wait or something. So
yeah. Yep.
Especially once you get to like 1 a.m. and on, it's like,
yep, they're
trying to get people to.
And if you're spending that money anyway, get your money's worth. Stay the entire time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put a little plug in there for our Papa Squat.
Oh, yes.
If you go to, I'll actually put a link in under the description of a little stool that we use in line when there are long lines. It literally is a portable stool that extends. You can place it in your book bag, and you literally can sit there and take the weight off your feet, because sometimes
it's a game changer.
It is. And we call it the Papa Squat. If you follow us on Instagram at Doom_buddies, you'll see a commercial for there. It's one of the ones pinned on our Instagram. And then click the link. You can get one. Honestly, we like it for not only the lines, but also if there's nowhere to sit and you want to eat your twisted tater. Like, there are multiple purposes for it. But that's my little Papa Squat plug. And then last thing was just the average wait times so far this year. Kate basically said it. The longest wait is The Last of Us, Stranger Things, Dueling Dragons, and Universal Monsters. Those ones are,
of course, my top.
I know, all of ours.
Our top.
It's pretty consistently long in wait. So again, plan, map it out. Take a look at a map online and figure out, hey, let's, start with doing this one first.
Typically, statistically, historically, people kind of gravitate to the first houses that they see. So when you walk in, there's one that's right by the Minions ride. Trigger warning. We hate the Minions. Well, okay.
I like the Minions.
Aaron likes the Minions. I hate the Minions.
But I don't think they should have got rid of Universal Monsters Cafe.
Besides the point.
But anyway.
Anyway, so like there's a house that's right there, and then there's a house that's by the Music Plaza lawn, and then there's one that's by New York City. That's like your first stretch of Horror Nights, and a lot of people tend to go boop right there. So like a little tip is to go to the right.
Yep.
And to head towards the Hollywood side, and go back towards Men in Black, where there's multiple houses, and I bet you those will all be walk-ons. Or
Probably.
like walk-ins that within the first hour, like, because people are hitting up those ones that they see right away, like, oh, let's go here, and they forget, or there's people that don't even know where the houses are.
Right. And also too, there is another option. If you are doing the parks ahead of time, there is something called the Stay and Scream, and basically they'll let people who have had tickets to the event, but also were in the parks prior to the event. You can stay in an area where you want to go to the haunted house you want to go to first, basically. So it's a little area that they have people just for HHN to wait.
You get like first dibs, basically. It's like a pre-line to the house.
Yes.
So like there's a section that's in New York, and there's a section that's in Springfield, like, so if you were hanging out in Diagon Alley that day, and now you're ready for Horror Nights, and you know that you really want to go to Stranger Things, so you're hanging out in the New York Stay and Scream area, so that they'll let you, once it hits like 6:30, they open the gate, and you're the first one in line, basically.
Which is great. It's really great. However, you do miss the opening ceremonies. So if that's not a big deal to you, and you want to make the most out of your time,
like if you don't have an express pass, like that would be ideal.
That's a good thing.
To beeline it to one of those popular houses.
Yes. So before we go, we just wanted to do a little segment in our channel that is a fun fact. Whether it's about Disney or HHN, since we're talking about HHN, we have a fun fact for you about HHN. Take it away.
So Halloween Horror Nights started in 1991, but it was actually called Universal Studios Fright Nights.
Oh.
And it only took place for 3 nights, and there was only one haunted house. And the characters had to do their own makeup and provide their own costumes.
Wow.
I looked at the price of it too, and for people who were in the park that day that wanted to stay, it was only $7.95.
Oh my
And for
gosh.
like people who just wanted to come to the event, it was 6 to midnight, it was $15.95.
Wow.
Are you?
How much is it now?
That's the scariest thing about it.
Yeah, it's like what, $300 or something?
If with an express
With
pass?
an express pass.
It can be.
Yeah.
It very well can be.
Times have changed.
The 90s.
Good times.
And look where we are now, 32 years later. They're still doing it.
But it has gotten bigger and better, so we do give them that. It is worth the price you pay.
I'll pay any amount.
I'll just sacrifice an arm and a leg, dude.
I'll sacrifice my soul to Dr. Oddfellow. So
Yep, me
I
too.
can go to Horror Nights forever and ever and always forever.
100%. Thank you again for watching, guys. Again, our Instagram is doom_buddies, and that's also our TikTok name. But I could also link all of that in the description. And if you're interested in commenting on the video, let us know what you're excited to see this year.
What house do you think is going to be cool? What scare zone? What food items?
Yes. And there's definitely more content to come. And if there's something that you guys want us to talk about, you want to hear our hot take on it, let us know. Put it in the comments. We'd love to make content based on what people want to see and hear. So that's all we got for you today, guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Like and subscribe.